I have a ex-business partner I just haven't been feeling right about things. I've tried to correct.
X for a reason, huh?
Yeah. And we've tried different things, and I've decided, you know what, for this year, I just need to let it go. Just let it be away from me for a little while. And recently he's wanted to go on a trip with some of my best friends that he didn't even know, just through me. And I was asked the question of whether or not I was okay with that. And my problem was, my initial thought or feeling was no. But I give myself a hard time with saying no, because who I want to be is a person who is not ego-driven and would accept.
We don't want you to be ego-driven. We want you to be alignment called. There's a difference between being driven and being inspired. And so when you realize that you've put it all in your vortex, and now your vortex is calling you to it, when you think about what you're inclined to say yes to and what you're inclined to say no to, don't let that be a bad thing to not feel like you want to say yes to something. It isn't. That's like saying, I'm going to get on the highway, and even though there are these lines that represent lanes, I don't want to be guided by that, so I'm going to drive all around. And we say, that's fine, except nobody else really understands that, and it's going to make a lot of trouble in your world. So sometimes it's helpful to think about what you're saying yes to, because every subject is really two subjects, wanted and unwanted. And so you can softly just say, what I really want is, when the impulse to say no comes up, no, I don't really want to do that. If you justify all the reasons you don't want to do that, you activate all that old stuff, which is now present now, which now is affecting every relationship you have. And that's why you wisely and intuitively know that's not the way to go about it. So if you say, well, what is it that I want to say yes to? That softens it, first of all, and then you can think about what it is you really like. Well, I really like being with my friends, and I really like the easiness that we all have together. And one of the reasons that we like to be together, what I'm saying yes to, one of the reasons that we like to be together is that we are, for the most part, on the same wavelength. And this is a vacation, which means it's a rest or respite for us. And so it's something where I really want relaxation. I really want something, I don't want to work at it. I really want relaxation about it. I really want to have fun. I want to feel easy about it. This is the thing, oh, such a good question. This is the thing that we want all of you to hear about this. You are not inappropriate when you take the path of least resistance. You mostly don't know that because you've been trained. If it's not hard, you're not getting anywhere. And if you don't struggle, then it doesn't really count. And if there's not some pain, then there can't be any gain. And those are all such flawed premises. They fly in the face of the laws of the universe as we know them to be. So we want you to soothe yourself into saying, it's all right for me to let my alignment come first. And so if I'm faced with a situation where I know my alignment is going to be challenged, there's nothing wrong with you taking the path of least resistance, because when you accomplish a resistant-free path, you get alignment. And when you get alignment, you get resources, you get replenishment, you get stuff to give to everyone. If you are not selfish enough to align yourself with your resources, you don't have anything to give anyone. And haven't you all had the experience where you did something that you really didn't want to do, and then it just kept showing you why you didn't want to do it? And so the way we talked about that here today was by saying, this thought must turn to this thing, and this thought must turn to this thing. So here's what you got to do. When someone hits you with something, and it hits you right here, if you can't turn this thought to this thought, don't do it. That's the answer, isn't it? So could you do that? Could you say, well, that was then, this is now, and we're different people? You can't usually do that all of a sudden, can you? To turn that thought about a past relationship to this thought about a past relationship might take a few days of meditation. We wouldn't just do it on the fly. We wouldn't do it in real time. We wouldn't say, it's sort of like saying, well, my vibrational meter tells me that the way I feel about you and everything that's come down is going to result in more misery. But I think I'll just play it out and try to solve it in the middle of the misery. We'll just fight it out. We'll just fight it out until it gets better. You hear what we're saying, don't you? And so if you can't move it in the vibrational stage, then don't move toward it. And so no is the right answer. And if you want to soften it a little bit, you could say, I have to say no because I'm not in the right place for us to have a good outcome. In other words, that's telling it like it is. I have to say no, not because there's something wrong with you, but because I haven't come to the resolution that I need to be at in order for us to have the fantastic time that I now demand of myself. I gotta have fun or I don't want to go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
That's amazing.
Yes,
I
indeed.
wanted to give you this.
Yes, indeed. Now what? Feeling pretty good, aren't you? Feels good to be in the know.